I don't care what your excuses are. However you got here, you all showed up with some self-talk. I know you did. Slow down and have more intentional focus in the things that matter the most.
Welcome back to the Burn Podcast, and I am your producer, Tyler. This week on the show, we're talking about your routine. One of the most intense workshops we go through at our live boot camps takes attendees through a process of analyzing their routines and how to transform them to fit their goals and vision, no matter how big. In this episode, we're sharing a small snippet of Ben taking a group of individuals through that exact training. We will be hosting our next live boot camp in Puerto Rico, October 6th through the 8th, 2024, and we still have a few tickets remaining if you would like to do this work live and in person. Head over to workwithbnc.com to book a time with our team to reserve one of those final tickets. Now let's get into this week's episode of The Burn, talking about transforming your routine.
All right, so I just mentioned intentional focus. So I just want to wrap things up. I intended on going a little bit longer this afternoon with this final session. Not really, really long, but I'm going to tighten it up, and here's why. I don't know about you, but these speakers blew me away today. What do you guys think? The energy, the passion, the preparation, the level of detail that they brought to the stage to make sure that we honored what we committed to, which was, this was not going to be a regular event where you go and there's a bunch of these awesome speakers. It was speakers that were going to help you attack different areas of your life. And so we all have perspective of tough things that we've been through. And so I encourage you to connect to that perspective with intentional focus. I've been sharing this for years. It's another one of those things I've just found in doing this for a long time. You hear people talk about focus, right? One of the things that Sean and I have talked a lot about that we always bring to our coaching methodology is that focus is not enough. We talk about it all the time. It's not enough. And some people, they say, well, what do you mean focus isn't enough? It's not. Focus doesn't cause you to lock in and attack the details, but intentional focus does. I'll give you a football example. I was working with an offensive lineman during training camp season, and this offensive lineman, we were having a conversation. I said, well, what does focus mean to you? And he looks at me, and we were preparing for a scrimmage that day, and I said, what does focus mean? He's like, man, I show up, get up on that line, they run the play, and I attack the play. I said, okay, sounds good, that's focus, like you're ready to run the play. I said, remember the conversations we've had about intentional focus? And I kind of called him out. He said, yeah. And I said, well, the answer you just gave me is focus. It's not intentional focus. And I said, remember when I encouraged everybody to break down game film, to stop making excuses and break down the game film, to really identify the little edge, the little difference, so that the game would slow down for you. I said, did you forget that conversation we had? Now, this was one-on-one. So remember one-on-one, I'll challenge the shit out of people. I'll still do it sometimes in a group setting, but I won't make anybody raise their hand. So I said, how did you forget that, man? I said, don't you remember when we talked about game film? And I said, look, when you watch game film, you have to lock in, watch more film than somebody else, so I can watch the tendencies of the man that I'm lining up across from. So if I'm heading into a scrimmage and I know, here's the defensive end's tendencies. If he puts his hand in the dirt, I know he's going this way. If he actually lines up without his hands in the dirt, he's going to go another way. Then you need to understand those tendencies so you can attack and exploit those tendencies so that you can dominate your one-on-one and beat that man every time you snap the ball. You guys see the difference between focus and intentional focus? And so I encouraged him. I said, you got to go back to intentional focus. You have to go back to living in the details. So for you to be able to take this next step, to really scrutinize your own behavior and really break down what's happened today, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to show up tomorrow and I'm going to be ready and I'm going to be focused. So because we're going to end maybe 15 minutes early, it's not like really, really early, but at 15 minutes, I'm going to do that because I want you to take that 15 minutes. And I'm going to walk through 3 takeaways that I believe is the beginning process of the evolution of creating that next self. And that's all I'm going to ask you to do is later take 15. Some of you are so locked in right now, I think you may stay in your rooms all night and just lock in and work, and some of you just decompress because we've gone deep today. We've gone really deep today. But I encourage you when you go through these 3 exercises to do it with intentional focus. So for me, what that means, like when I do my journaling and things in the morning, I put the phone away. I lock in on what's in front of me. I lock in on the things that set my mind, that are in the environment that I know lock me in to compete to be my best one day at a time. So it's intentional focus. Focus is not enough. If you are leading other people and you teach them to lock into the details with intentional focus, you will win at a higher level. I do it with individuals on our team all the time. You can ask Monique, you can ask Sean, you can ask Tyler. Might drive them crazy sometimes, but I find we win more when we have intentional focus. So that's what I'm going to encourage you to do in these 3 areas. Number 1, we kicked off today with your burn. Why not you and why not now to take control of your life by first connecting to your burn? I don't care what your excuses are, whether you came here by plane, train, automobile. So however you got here, you all showed up with some self-talk. I know you did. You all showed up with doubts and fears and uncertainties and pain and things that have been going on because of your industry. You all showed up with it. But why not you and why not now to say enough is enough? If I just heard Amberly, enough is enough. Why not me and why not now to silence it? And I'm going to connect to my burn because I believe that can be the difference. Did you see Justin Gatlin's eyes when I brought that out of him, Jay Gatt? You tell me the burn doesn't exist? When he told you what? Here's what they said about me, and I put that up on my mirror. Could you feel when he talked about that? The level of intentional focus that he went to and the fire and burn that lit him up inside. When you wake up and he would look at that on his mirror, you think Justin Gatlin's hitting the snooze button? So all these fears and all these doubts and all these excuses, you have to make a choice to say, why not me? Why not now? Right now, I change. I will start connecting to my burn. And I told you, maybe I've made a mistake as a coach to offer it up as a suggestion in the past. Now I'm telling you, you got to do this.
Have you thought about writing a book, but just don't have the time? We would love to help you make that dream come true this year. Introducing BNC Publishing. We offer an in-house 3-step process to help you bring your book to life. The whole process only takes 60 to 90 days. Compared to 18 months for traditional publishing methods, we work fast. To see if we are a good fit to work together on your project, email our team at info@bennewman.net. That's info@bennewman.net. Now, back to the show.
So whether you create a burn journal, whether you take the notebook that's right in front of you so you remember the energy and the passion, and you could literally look and say, okay, there's Amberly's face. No more excuses. Like you literally see it right there. There's Dr. Lyon's face who cut it to us straight. Like there it is. I'm going to take control of my health and my nutrition. I'm going to take control of my wellness. No more excuses in these areas of my life. Start that burn journal and write it down. It has changed my life. I literally see it on my phone, and then I write it in my burn journal, and then I look at my legacy bracelet every single day because I remember my mom. And when I light myself up that way, I will not waste a day for my family. And I will not waste a day for all of you. I've learned that's all I know. Because if I show up that way, what happens and the impact makes a difference. You all are writing a story. If you don't connect to your burn, your story will not be as powerful. You will never understand what your highest level of performance looks like. And I'm one of those individuals, I'll tell you, you can call it something else if you want to. If you don't want to call it your burn, I don't care what you call it, but the principle of this underlying fire, you have to connect to it because it's different than why and purpose. It's different. I'll share with you the difference. My burn is my mom. I've shared that with you. So when I think of my mom, I will not waste a day. This blows people away when I share this with them. A month before I started as a financial advisor, in March of 2004, I was given this little handout. And in this little handout, It said, what's your why and your purpose for your life? I was a 25-year-old kid at the time. Hadn't met Amy yet, no kids, single. And I literally wrote, to empower and inspire individuals to uncover their passions and desires to seek a greater vision for themselves. What the hell does that have to do with financial advising? I have said that statement to myself every single day since March of 2004. I changed one word. I now, if you look on my phone, when I read that to myself every day, it says, educate, empower, and inspire individuals to uncover their passions and desires to seek a greater vision for themselves. Mr. Murray, you probably remember me saying that to you at some point in time, all the years that we've known each other. It hadn't changed. And so the burn ignites that. And I was so clear on that, even though I was a financial advisor, who would have known that almost 20 years later, isn't that what I do today? And what I want you to understand is the burn and the why and the purpose. They're both important. But without the burn and that reason why you're going to fight, you're not going to ignite that why and purpose the same way. And on the days when you win, you're going to fall off your behaviors. The second takeaway, one of the gifts that you found in your backpacks. If for some reason you have not received your backpack and your gifts, please make sure that you visit with the events team. Inside that backpack, there's your mental toughness playbook. Your mental toughness playbook has the 6 mental training tools that we have built our coaching platform on over the last 18 years. That playbook has either been downloaded, bought, purchased, there's all different ways people have been able to get it, over 1 million times. If you go to your prize fighter day inside of that playbook, that is how you break down and design your ability to win one day at a time. I said it last night, I said it earlier. My definition of winning is not rings and money. My definition of winning is your ability to look yourself in the mirror one day at a time and say, today I've given it my very best. If you can do that and honestly be truthful with yourself that you followed through with the disciplines that it takes to win, nobody can ask any more of you than your very best, and you can't ask any more of yourself than your best one day at a time. But you got to be honest with yourself. I would do the work for you, I told you, but this is on you. And a prize fighter day strips away another one of the things that's become common in coaching. Well, you work really hard and then take time off. Okay, once again, I'm still trying to figure out the ways to get better. But I will tell you, if you are having conversations with a coach and your coach says, just work really hard and take time off, you need to ask that coach how their disciplines are, because they lack discipline. Because if that coach believes that balance doesn't exist, don't coach with that person. And I'm not saying it's the exact same amount of time in everything that you do, but it's breaking down the different areas of your life that when you choose to lock in with intentional focus and make your personal choices a priority, your professional decisions and choices a priority, and your ability to serve others one day at a time a priority, that is winning in life and that is balance. That is a balanced approach. And somebody who tells you that that doesn't happen, run the other way. That's not a coach. They lack discipline and they don't know what it takes to become a champion. Because each and every single one of you, you can choose personally to make things a priority. You can choose to make your family a priority. You can choose to make your nutrition a priority. When I'm at home, I make it a priority to take the kids to school. When I'm at home, I love cooking dinner. It's one of the things, like for me, it's an outlet. Now, Amy and I, it's even better. We love cooking dinner together. I look forward to that. I get off of a Zoom, sometimes it's with one of you, and I come down, and I'm ready to just spend time with Amy. But you see, there's areas I need to improve where I could be better. Sometimes I need to remember, like, I can put my phone away. During football season, I get this complex that, like, my phone always has to be with me because the players and coaches need me immediately. Well, like, they can wait 30 or 45 minutes. Typically, nothing's an absolute emergency. Babe, I can do better with that. Right? So I'm not perfect. I'm trying to find ways to be better, but I need to prioritize. I need to recommit to my prize fighter day so that I don't recognize myself. The challenge isn't just for you, it's for me. I need to be better with my phone at home. That's one area that I've picked out. It's got to change. Because my kids see that I'm on my phone too much sometimes. Oh, well, it's this player, I got to deal with this issue. I could deal with it later when I'm done having a conversation with my kids. So I'm being transparent with you. We're changing together. I'm going to work on that. Because sometimes that's a behavior that I allow just too much to get in the way. Personally, right? My workout's very, very important to me. I'm not encouraging that nobody take rest. Amberly said rest is important. For me, it's become one of those things I shared earlier. If my addiction is working out and buying Air Jordans, it's a lot better than the alternatives. So personally, you can choose to design your day so that you can win. So that at the end of the day, you look in your mirror and you either did it or you didn't do it. And it's not results, it's behaviors. It's not, I'm going to lose 2 pounds today. It's what do I need to do to lose 2 pounds? Well, if you're meal prepping, actually eat what you meal prepped. Professionally, we already went through it. You're going to design it. The problem, the planning, the performance piece. The performance piece is your prize fighter day. So if the planning piece dictates, I'm just going to go back to the example to keep it easy and consistent, 20 POCs to build a pipeline, to build your opportunities, to let the world know I am open for business today, then that's it. Then it goes right on your prize fighter day, 20 POCs. And then acts of service. One of my favorite acts of service. I write about this in the Standard. And let me share with you why acts of service are important. So for business, it might not be the POCs, it might be something else. It might be studying or researching or giving back or recognizing individuals. Find what works for you that's a choice, not a result, and you attack it one day at a time. And then the service-based piece. This is probably the most important. Jon Gordon, who's one of the greatest coaches to ever coach anything. He was the head basketball coach for UCLA, won 10 championships in 12 years. The man wrote more best-selling books in his 90s than 99% of best-selling authors. Legend. He said, you cannot have a great day until you've done something for somebody else with no expectation of anything in return. Tell me you can't do that one day at a time. We live in a selfish world. Chance did an amazing job talking about relationships being unique. Go back to loving on people, like Amberly said. Go back to having real relationships. At Kansas State, Coach Truman Carroll, Coach True we call him, that's our strength coach. One of the greatest coaches I've ever spent time with. You talk about intentional reading, giving, serving, challenging. I love the man. And he always encourages us, man, we need to get back to having real relationships. He doesn't spell it R-E-L, it's R-E-A-L. Have real relationship. Care enough about each other to slow down and say the things that need to be said, to challenge the way that we need to challenge, to give and to serve and to love. That's how we become stronger as a family and a team. I developed a strategy that I call unexpected intentional touches. I write about it in the Standard. Far too many of us were leading other people and we tell them that they're doing great in a 6-month review. We tell them that they're doing great in a 3-month review. How about like slowing down and telling them we're doing great? Like, Kiana, I walked by your office today. You were on the phone. I heard you. You were on fire working with one of your patients. I love learning from you because you have real energy that you bring to every single patient you work with. Like, Kiana, thank you for having me on the team. Why would you not say that if that's what you feel? Because we're so busy in life we can't slow down anymore? If somebody does something great, take your phone out, film a video, and tell them they're doing great. Tell them that you're proud of them. You're too busy to do that? You're too busy to have relationships? Imagine if every single one of you, one day at a time, said, I'm going to do an unexpected intentional touch designed to serve and make somebody else feel good about themselves. If you do that every single day, do we make this world a better place? In a world where everybody's moving so fast they don't want to slow down because they're so busy. Slow down. Without unexpected intentional touches, I move too fast. So when I do those things every single day, it makes me feel better that I remember I can't do what I do without all of you. I can't do what I do without my beautiful family and their support. I'm not doing this by myself. We all get to do this together. So why wouldn't I want to acknowledge and thank and spread love to the people that I am blessed to have the opportunity to do this work with? Give of yourself every day. Bring unexpected intentional touches. It's unexpected when it's not part of a scheduled review. We all can do that better. Slow down and have more intentional focus in the things that matter the most, personally in your life, professionally in your life, and in service. I encourage you tonight, with the extra 15 minutes that I'm going to give you, figure out where that burn is going to play in your life. How are you going to do it? What's the design? Where does that fit into your environment? Then where's that gift from Michelle Reinglass? Where's that going to go? So that once you look at it and you get to that performance piece, you then can pull out, because you've got the worksheet right there in the Mental Toughness Playbook. I'm giving you literally the answers to the test. So it's right there. You got to do something with it. So you fill it out, and then I want to encourage you to test it for 7 days. So we're going to test it for 7 days. So 7 days from now, you're going to look back and say, the things that I wrote down, are those the things that are going to cause me to win, so that I get in this cycle of the 4 Ps and I'm creating success, where I'm going to choose to not be seduced by that success, but continue to repeat the behaviors of this prize fighter day, so when I get to December the 25th, I will not recognize the person I was when I showed up to boot camp. It's pretty simple, isn't it? The hard part, are you going to do it? It's actually easy, but it's actually the hard part, because most of us come to things like this and they revert back to their old behaviors because they're not given the tools. I'm giving you the answers to the test.